Okay, so recording has started. Once again, a quick disclaimer that we record these calls and we place our recordings on our YouTube channel. If you don't want to be recorded, you may want to drop off now. Second, this call is joined by our Microsoft team members as well as our customers and partners. So, with that, let's start with our topic of discussion. Um, Once again, thank you for joining. And today we are going to be talking about VNet flow logs. Just like we always do, we are going to spend a few minutes on what problem area flow logs are addressing, why we need to use them. And the second thing we're going to talk about is a quick overview of flow log, how you set it up, and all of that. And then we always do, there's going to be a demo, and feel free to ask any questions. And with that, let's quickly go to I have a few slides. So first of all, why we need to use flow logs. Okay, so let's take a step back. I mean, in any network, um, you have a number of different type of devices. You may have VMs, apps, or PaaS services, things like that. And as you start deploying your application in the cloud, you have to have a network, and that becomes starts getting complex very quickly. Okay, what you need to find out is how you can monitor access to these devices, like in regards to who is connecting, who is accessing your devices, which ports are open. Okay, and uh, which machines are connecting to which. Are you and if there is an access block, where it is blocked, how you can optimize your network flow. All of these things uh, require some sort of flow logging, like how your network traffic is flowing. And flow logs can become a source of truth and help you address these questions. So that's where they come into picture. Okay. And I know there is something called NSG flow logs, which are here, and we will talk about them as well. Just keep in mind that VNet flow logs are more of a superset of NSG flow logs, and we will, as we go further, we will talk more about it. So these are the core areas that are addressed by VNet flow logs. Just keep in mind they are in public preview at the moment. Okay. Um, Network monitoring, you know, um, differentiating between undesired versus desired traffic, how you want the ability to filter the flow logs, all of that you want to, and it's not just real-time filtering. I mean, you want to export them and do further analysis to see what threats are coming to your network, and then finding out in regards to usage monitoring and optimization, who are the top talkers, who are using which applications are using the most bandwidth. Sorry, not benefit, bandwidth. Okay, and then as we are continuing to talk about it, let's say that there are applications that are coming from, I mean, getting clients from all over the globe. You can find out where your traffic is coming from. You know, is there any cross-region traffic, things like that. And compliance is a big thing. I mean, that's becoming more and more important. Is your network properly isolated? Is it meeting the enterprise access demands? And then, of course, security analysis. Are there any bad characters which are trying to access your network? Has it been compromised or things like that? So all of that stuff is that's where VNet flow logs can help you. Sorry. Just a quick summary. What is why, how they are different? If you know that NSG flow logs were tied to NSG, in some cases where you have NSGs at multiple levels, let's say that you at the level of VM as well as at the level of the NIC or VNet, subnet, and NIC, then you have like kind of a two levels of logging. In this case, it's more simplified. And the other thing is it also take into account the rules set up by virtual network manager. Okay, so um, that's there as well. Okay, and it also check the encryption status of your network is that's enabled or not. Um, and by the way, if there are any folks, if I'm not looking, please feel free to let people in. I'm not sure why this is happening now in this conference, in this Teams meeting. It wasn't supposed to be that way. Probably we'll have to set up a new meeting at some point. Okay, so back to our discussion, and so that's the difference is ideally they're a superset of NSG flow logs. I'm talking about VNet flow logs. They are a superset of NSG flow logs. Okay, and let's quickly move on here and let's talk about the what kind of a more of a physical characteristics of the flow log. So what they are. Oh, sorry, I'm moving slides too much. So basically, these are a layer 4, operate at layer 4 of the OSI model, and they collect at 1 minute intervals. Okay? So if you turn it on, they collect at 1 minute interval. They are written as a JSON, and we will take a look at that in a second. It each record contain different pieces of information. Let's say if we see below here, you have the timestamp, source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, and protocol, how the traffic is flowing. Is it inbound, outbound? What is the flow state? Beginning, continue, end, denied, and encryption status. This is very important. What is encryption status? And then the bytes in and bytes out. Okay, so all of that information is available as a part of VNet flow logs. Okay, so let's jump into the demo. Okay, first of all, just go in and so let me bring this in here. And before we go into the demo, I just want to make it very clear. These are the region. Hopefully you see the browser. These are the regions where it is currently available in preview. Okay, you will have to sign up. It's a kind of a public preview which require you to sign up. So you sign up, you provide them the subscription information. For example, if you open this page, a second to come up. Here we go. So you have to provide your information and a subscription, and then they will allow list for your subscription, and that's that point on you go from there. Then once you have that subscription enabled, you can go in and you can use either PowerShell or CLI to manage your VNet flow logs. And as always, you have to first provision or enable, register the Microsoft Insights resource provider. And by the way, I'm not going to go through these steps in actual because it takes some time and we only have 30 minutes. So, and then you enable the flow logs and you can enable the flow logs as you can see here, VNet, and then you say, this is my storage account and it's going to start writing to the storage account. Sorry, a question? Hello, sorry. Um, so sorry for the interruption. And then you have the VNet flow logs and traffic analytics. What you can do is you can optionally send these flow logs to a log analytics workspace where they are stored and analyzed. And we will take a look at it that as well. Okay. So with that, let me tell you what I have. And let's go in here. Let me move this thing here. So this is my resource group. As you can see here, the main thing is I have two virtual machines in this resource group. And These are the two virtual machine, demo VM1, demo VM2, very simple network, just for the demo purposes. And I have a VNet in which those two VMs are in two different subnets. And then a I have set up the flow logs on this one. That's where you see data collection rule and all these things. So all of these are set up here. And in addition to that, I have set up a storage account where I am storing this data. So first of all, let's go to those VMs and let's play around with it a little bit. So this is my VM here. And this is my second. So there are two VMs. And actually, let me do side by side. Okay. And these are Linux VMs, so I am accessing them. Okay. So as you can see, the on one VM, I'm running a simple Node.js service. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the second VM and try to access that. Okay. And as you can see, it's been accessed. Let's do it again. So basically, just I'm simulating an application that is accessing VM one or the other. That's all there is to it. So let's take a look. Let's see how the logs look like. So first we are going to go to the storage account. Okay. So we go to the storage account. Uh, this is my storage account, and let's go in here. What you will see is you will see this container. Instead of the default dollar logs container, you will see a container name inside logs, flow log, flow event. Okay. Once you go into this container, you will see a kind of a directory structure, and it goes over, basically it will go based on your network, and then year, month, and this is the day. So let's go for today. And these are different hours when it is doing the logging. And it's after every minute. So I'm going to check the last hour. And what I'm going to do is, and these are the two addresses belong to each of the machine. Got it? So let's download log for one of these addresses. And what we can do is we can take a look. So it's downloaded. And we have a Visual Studio, and I am going to open it. Okay, and let me just format the document so we can see it as a properly formatted document. So let's take a look. You see, what it is showing is each rule as it's being executed, deny all inbound. So this is the inbound traffic. This is, if you remember, when we were looking at the slide deck, I'm just going to quickly go back to refresh. And this is the source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, protocol, and all the way. Then you have the traffic flow, flow state, encryption, packets, all of that. So let's go through the structure one more time from top to bottom. First, you have the flow version, flow GUID, MAC address. This is the MAC address. Category, it will always be the same. Flow log resource ID. This is the resource ID of the VNet flow log. Okay. And then you have the target resource ID. This is the VNet resource ID where this is enabled. So this is my VNet where it is enabled. Okay. And then operation name, this will always be the same. Flow log, flow event. Okay. Then you have the flow records. And then you have the ACL ID. This is basically the NSG based on the NSG. This is the NSG, whatever that is set up. Um, and then you have the rule. And then these are the individual records. So this is the record ID, source IP, source port, source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, protocol. This is six. This is inbound traffic, and all of that stuff is here. Okay. So as you can see here, I mean, you can look at all of this information and go through it. I mean, to be honest, this information is useful, as you can see here. Um, and for example, let's try to find out one of the IP address of the VM that we were trying to use. So let's quick find 10.0.1.4. Okay, so let's see. Oh, let's try to do 10.0.1.4. I think I want to see the traffic that is happening. Yeah, I want to show you this. So this is the calls as we were testing. So you see, this is the source machine. This is demo VM1, demo VM2, where we were running the simple web service. This is the source port. Remember, the destination port was 3000, and this is how this interaction was happening. So, I mean, you can find out this, all that information is there. But to be honest, that is not the easiest or simplest way to look at it. I mean, yes, visually I can do the search and find out, but the the true power, if you want to see of these logs, is when they are collected in what we call a log analytics workspace. Because what it does is traffic analytics is analyze it, it creates the proper table, and which gives you the appropriate information. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back here. So this is my VNet logs I have created, and just to show you how I created those, this is the command: enable VNet logs and traffic analytics. So this is basically you need to use traffic analytics true, so it will appropriately parse the data and populate the tables. So you can do that using PowerShell or CLI. In this case, I use the CLI. Okay. So let's see what data we have and what we can do with it. First of all, let's look at the tables. There are three tables. I mean, the usage is all internal. This is the IP details, net analysis, and topology details. I think the first two, I mean, all three are very important, but the first two are very interesting. So let's go to the IP details. This is the IP details. And this table, if I just run this analysis, and let me increase the font size a little bit and hide this stuff so we have more real estate to show. Look, it is showing you different IPs which are, inbound, outbound, and then it tells you what is the IP detail, where this IP detail is coming from. Thing is, Microsoft has a huge um, set of services that we are running, and we get all types of IP that try to access, and we collect all that information, and that's what we are sharing about these customers. So this is publicly available information, but this information is available to our customers. So this is the public detail. And then is there a threat association with that, associated with that IP? So what I have done is I have written a very simple query. I said, okay, tell me if the threat type is phishing. Okay, so let's run this query. Let's see if there are any IPs which are trying to access my machines. Oh my God, yes, there are. Look at that. I mean, as soon as you put something out there, these are all of these network, they are trying to do phishing. They're trying to kind of, and these are all different locations they are coming from, you know. So you see what I'm saying? This type of information you are able to extract based on the VNet flow log. So what you have done is you have enabled logging, and then you are sending this information um, to a log analytics workspace, and you're enabling traffic analytics. So it's analyzing it, and it is telling you that this is a malicious flow. Got it? It's somebody is trying to do some harm. Okay. So I think this is very important information, and I am just scratching the surface. Since we are still in public preview and lot more hopefully will come, and a lot more detail will come. So, I think the security experts can look into this information and go into further details. So, for example, if you open it, this shows us when it was trying to access. I mean, it's coming from some China net address. So, all of that information is there, and you can um, look at this information, or security experts in an organization can look at information and do something about it. By the way, any questions? Sorry, I normally pause for questions, but I'm just going through it. Okay. If there are no questions, so that's one part of information. Now let's look at the analytics. So if we go into analytics, let's just run what is in the query. Give it a second. Okay, so this is showing me all the logs. This is kind of the same information that we had in the um, JSON. Okay, but now it's in the table format. We can query it without, instead of find. Okay, I want to see if there is any interaction between uh, these two machines. Okay, so let's run it. And yes, here are the different times this was interacted. So this is kind of a traffic view. I can expand it. Let me move this further a little bit. So this is intra VNet flow type. Look, it's not malicious. It's intra VNet. Source IP, destination port, protocol TCP, and it's an outbound. Um, yes, flow status is allowed, and this is basically flow log resource IDs. All of that information is there, and just think about it. Let's say that, I mean, this is a very simple network, and kind of we set up this test. We know what the results are. But think of it. You want to find out in your network where you have hundreds of machines, is there any communication between this machine, which is an app service, or running your web services, versus with a machine that is running your database? Okay, is it there? How often it is there? Or if some people are complaining like, oh, we cannot access it. You can check out. If there is no communication, there should be, or maybe there should be a communication. Maybe a service that is running in your dev environment trying to access a database that is for production only. Things like that. So all of these things, I mean, with very simple queries, you can build on it, and you can create a very complex query from this and find out what's going on. What's how your machine are interacting with each other. So this is, to me, it's one of another way you can use these logs, and we looked at the use cases as well, so you can access this type of information. Any questions?
Hey Navid.
Yeah.
Please.
So I have posted some questions in the chat. So about the GA timelines, and when it comes to
Yeah.
GA, will it be rolled across all Azure regions?
Normally, okay, so here's the thing. I don't speak for product group. This is my personal experience. And once again, what I'm saying is not on behalf of Microsoft, at behalf of a techno geek. Normally, whenever they GA stuff, GA is that it's available in all of the major regions. So, or almost all of the regions. That is kind of one of the criteria I've seen they're using for GA. Okay, so that would be once it's GA, so hopefully it will be available in all region. I mean, otherwise it's not going to be that much beneficial. Second
Okay.
part is in terms of the GA timeline. Yeah, I I have no idea. I mean, still it's in public preview, and given that it's still in kind of you have to allow list your subscription. Uh, I think they will need some time. This is once
Okay.
again strictly my personal opinion. Go ahead.
Okay. And when we enable this VNet flow logs, do we need to disable or touch anything on the NSG level flow logs?
I would say you won't need NSG flow logs. It's a superset. So once you have this, you don't need NSG flow logs.
Okay, got
Let's
it.
put it this way.
And my last question is when we interact with some partner systems, so from our NAT point or egress point, so sometimes we see timeouts. So to troubleshoot, we usually generate the dump and we analyze with Wireshark type tools
Mhm.
to understand the network flow pattern. So will these flow logs help us in those troubleshooting points?
They should be helpful, but to what extent, I think it still need to be seen.
Okay,
you
thank
know
you.
so I don't want to give you a wrong answer, but I mean, you saw these two machines. So if we have all the interaction and suddenly you are seeing some kind of a missed stuff, like you are not getting to the network or something, so that may help, but how far it will go, I think Wireshark and those tools will still be relevant, but I think it will take you closer to your desired resolution.
Yeah, thank you, Navid.
Any other questions? Yeah. So, I mean, that's so once again, as I said, this is in still in public preview. So, jump on it, take a look. Oh, I forgot about one more table. So there, and we have 2 more minutes. So yeah. So this is the topology table. So this tells you like what is being interacted with what, and potentially you can build a network topology based on the information that is provided here. Okay, so kind of you can see like this interacts with that, so that allows you to build a network topology diagram. So this is the third table, and I haven't looked much into that. I mean, to me, the first two are kind of a really interesting, especially with the IP. It tells you like what type of IPs are trying to access, and kind of address those threats accordingly. And net analytics, which tells you like which machine is attracted with what, and you can then go from there. Okay. So with that, feel free to ask any questions. I have a couple of resources in the end. One is the overview, and the second one is the um, how to manage flow logs using CLI. PowerShell is available as well. You can take a look at it. So, folks, any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, I will give everybody. Oh, we're right on time, so that's great. Hope to see everybody next week for another session of Azure Power Lunch, and have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Naveed.